G'day mates and welcome back to the Unreal World. We're actually in episode 14 this time. I think I got confused a little bit last time. Things are ticking along quite nicely. You can see I'm a little bit fatigued. That is because I've done a fair bit off camera rather than repeat the very confusing button presses of smelting very small basic things while on camera and trying to talk and think at the same time, which is something that if you've watched any of my last 300 or 400 episodes of whatever I've recorded in the past couple of years, you'll see that I have zero capacity to do that. I just cannot do that. So I thought I'd do it off camera, or at least I can think and not have to talk. So I've made myself, make sure I click into the window, press inventory. Now you can see I have made myself, first of all, I finished making that stag leather that was sitting there. We've managed to make some very crap stag leather, but it is leather, not fur, which is great. It'll come in handy for a few things, namely because I'm planning on making some, what's it called, some clothing, some leather clothing for summer. You can see that we are rather warm already, even though it is, it doesn't say the time of day just yet here. I have to go to a different screen. But it is, even sleeping at night without that big fur overcoat and no fire, we are still staying comfortably warm. You can see I have here some inferior, where was it? Some poor iron tongs. So I've upgraded from the wooden iron tongs, and I'm currently halfway through making a metal shovel as well. So there's been a fair bit happen off camera. We're down to only 2 inferior wrought irons left, so I don't know if we'll make too much more. It's only 2 pounds of iron, but we'll see if there's any other tools we can make in the near future. We've also gone through all of our non-preserved food, and we're beginning to eat through, I think I had 11 smoked perches. So we're beginning to gradually chop our way through our preserved food as well, which is not concerning, but it is, well, something we need to be prepared for. Now, smoked perch, that's what we've got here. Oh, that's what we're eating now, but we're going to need another source of food. So I thought, oh, well, we'll go down and we'll check our things. There's a bunch of bunny rabbits and stuff running around. There's grouse everywhere flying over this lake, and really, really good nature area. And none of our traps appear to be hit just yet, except for, dun, 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 we have ourselves, let's have a quick look at this thing down here, an elk. It's not a big elk. Oh no, it's an escaping wounded big elk. It doesn't say big elk here, but apparently is a big one. It's fallen over, it's bruised its body, so its chest, and its left shoulder. So that is what I call a victory. There's our arrow still floating out there. Maybe now that things have warmed up, we'll risk going out and swimming a bit to get it. But for the time being, this thing is just standing here. So it is time to do our dastardly thing and club this poor thing to death in an effort to sort of preserve its, what's the word? Its skin. We don't want to damage its skin. I'm going to wait a little bit. Hopefully this thing doesn't escape. I've never seen them escape from a hole, but I don't think that means it's impossible. Either way then, we are now going to club this thing in the head. An excellent skilled blow. We executed a skilled blow and hit it in the hoof, not the head. That was not very skilled. Either way, let's continue to repeat and whack the thing. Hit its shoulder this time. Into its eye. There we go. We did hit it in the face, or the head finally. So it's seriously wounded. Bruised in the body, bruised in the left shoulder from before, bruised in the left hoof, bruised in the right shoulder, and a fracture in the right eye. I feel like an absolute monster. Let's continue doing this. Hit to the skull. How's our club skill going? Yeah, club. 56. We're not too bad. And there we go. Perfect hit to the neck and knock the thing unconscious. From here, we should be able to just smash it in the skull and crush it. Didn't work. Again. Again. Oh, has it woken up? Yeah, it appears that it is currently barely conscious. We've been smashing the thing in the head. Oh, fuck. I can't describe this. I feel like a monster. So sorry, elk. This poor thing. But it's apparently come conscious again. It's looking up at us. It can't move. It can't walk. It's looking up at us with its eye, with its one eye open. The other one fractured and pulped into a mess. Oh, God. Vegans and animal rights activists, please look away. This is not going to be pretty. We're going to hit it again in the head. Let's gone unconscious again, which is a good start. So we've stunned the thing. It's now a little more humane. You're getting tired. Oh god, I don't mean to laugh, but this is it's laugh or cry at this point. We've been beating this thing in the head, and we're starting to tire ourselves out. It's hard work. Please die, please. Okay, yes, okay, it's down. I'm so sorry about that, Elky. I'm so sorry, but this is horrible, horrible nature. We do at least ethically source our food by beating them to death with clubs. Okay, now that I've done that, let's start skinning the animal. We have ourselves a decent elk skin. That's not too shabby. Let's eat our perches. And what we're going to do is immediately start the tanning process. Oh, don't walk through that. Immediately start the tanning process of this this skin up here, just so I can see where it is. We're getting a little bit tired as well. I'm going to need to start butchering this thing as quickly as I can. I'm going to rest so that my stuff is good. I'm going to drop a few things as well, so we don't need to carry the leather that we've got. So you can see here, this elk skin is 22 pounds, but that stag was 24. So it was a heavier animal that we took the skin off. This one is not quite as big, so we won't get as much out of it. The other tools, I think I can drop over here. Wrought iron can go down, the whetstone, the hammer, the pour iron tongs, and the charcoal can all be dropped. The wooden tongs can be dropped over here because we won't be needing them anymore. And now what we can do is start cleaning the skin of the elk here. It's going to take us quite a bit of time. I don't want to get too tired either, because that body is going to start rotting down. There is a lot of beautiful meat. Unfortunately, our character is really quite tired and is ready to drop. So we're going to have a quick sleep. We're still hungry, but we're weary. So I'm going to wake up. We're going to eat something briefly. Let's move on to the smoked burbot. Pick them all up and just start eating a couple of them. Burbot is, I believe, quite nutritious. So go back to sleep for a bit. Wait, where's that skin? Oh, clean elk skin. Okay, I haven't finished it. I need to get down there and start butchering those. So I quickly tan the skin. I want fur this time. We're going to start making furs in the future because I need the furs for our house. We're going to be building the tanning material. Where's that bark? I'm going to have to go and pick off a whole bunch more bark in the future as well. Okay, clean that. We require use up the rest of that bark and some of that bark. If we butchered it, we could have used the fat, but that doesn't matter. A hare is approaching the bottom left. You can see just down here, but that doesn't matter. I need to put a couple of things over on the west as well. So hopefully this thing hasn't started to rot yet. Otherwise, we may lose all that beautiful food, which we do need desperately. Let's have a look at this thing. A big elk. Oh, no, hang. Ooh, I saw the spoiled there for a second, but that is the roasted stag cut that we've got there. So what we can do is butcher animal to the right. Chop it up. We're going to get a huge amount of meat. 291 edible elk cuts. That's great. We're now going to drop all of them, which is an odd thing to do. We're going to wait a little bit. So our fatigue's down, and then we're going to reset triggered trap, which is reset triggered trap to the right, and we'll hopefully continue to combat and trap things in the future. So let's start moving all this stuff here. We'll move the fat, and can I move 100? Yep, that's probably the limit. So I can move 100 at a time. So we'll drag this up here. I'm going to need to actually start loading this on my animal immediately. We're going to do something a little bit different than normal. Yes, I'm going to climb, and we're going to... How do I do this? I think I drop them here, and I push them left. I'm going to push all those stag cuts, onto the reindeer. So the reindeer is now packed up Hopefully it's not going to... Ooh, don't step in the water. Hopefully it's not going to crush it and carry this entire dead elk. This is probably going to be a good measuring tool. Someone was asking in the comments a few days ago how much or roughly how much my animal can carry. And if I make a lot of stuff, will it be able to carry it all? Hopefully it can. But if it can't, then we'll have a problem to deal with later. But that can effectively be solved. If I've got so much stuff that my single animal here can't carry it, what I can do to fix that is actually, it means I'm fairly well off and rich to start with. So I can actually sell and trade a whole bunch of these things. And you can see I can't do two things at once. I lost my train of thought. I can't do this, man. This is just, I can't think and talk at the same time. I can sell the stuff, and that'll allow me to effectively pick up everything done. That'll allow me to buy a new animal and just effectively increase my caravan size. So I can have 2 animals, and if I've still got too much stuff, I can sell more of it, and then 3 animals should be able to carry anything by that stage. And if not, I can just keep repeating. If I'm so filthy rich that my animals can't carry it all, I'll just buy more animals. So we'll drop now more of these elk cuts, and I'll push them to the left again. All of them have been loaded on. It looks like the animal can carry them all. If I have a quick look here, there is, it's carrying 291 elk cuts. It looks like for some reason, because these ones maybe were sitting out in the rain or something, they're beginning to age quicker, or maybe these ones are aging quicker or something. But they've now been split off into 2 piles. As opposed to being 291, it's now 2 piles. So there must have been a tick of like processing for how quick they're rotting. So what I need to do is grab things that I can make leather. I've got other sources of leather. I'll grab the woolen cloak, grab that fur shirt. I think I can make stuff out of wool. Either way, what I'm doing here effectively is, may as well bring this stuff as well, is I'm going to make a whole bunch of cords. And we're going to climb, actually, where's the leash? Climb over here, climb over here. I'm going to pick up the reindeer leash, and it should be able to just follow me out. Yep, it followed me out. So we've taken it out of its pen, and we're going to go up to this little village, which is somewhere up here. There we go. So we're heading to the village, and what we're going to be doing is using their little room here to smoke up some... what do I have to burn? I probably should have brought some charcoal or something. I'm going to use it to smoke up a whole bunch of the... I can't think of what I'm doing. I really cannot do 2 things at once. Let's pick this up, and we're going to grab some branches. We're going to smoke the meat and use all this meat to effectively preserve it. So once we've done that, we can start moving. Once we've got a huge preserved food stockpile, we'll have no real concerns about traveling around and being a wild person living off the land, all that sort of stuff. So I'll grab some of this stuff here, some spruce twigs, and that'll allow us to start a fire here. Now, they shouldn't get pissed off that we're starting a fire in a fireplace. Excuse me, people. What I'm going to do is, can I move? No, I can't. I'm going to drop. What am I carrying? I'm carrying slender string, all those. I'm going to drop those there. I'm going to push them both onto the fireplace, and now I'm going to start making some cords. So let's go utility articles. I'm going to make, where are we? Cords, right in front of me. I'm going to make, let's start with 5 of them, and we'll start burning through these crappy bits of leather we've got here. Looks like I can use wool, but we'll start with our linen trousers, and we'll just use the lightest things we can. Can I use wool? Yes, I can use wool. So we're going to make a whole bunch of these, and then start our preserving. Would have been great to have had these prepared beforehand, but I didn't expect to find a huge elk. But this is going to be great because it's going to make a brilliant episode with me not having to do any other work. I love that. I'm going to make another 5 of them. I'm going to use the woolen cloak entirely. And I think 10 of them should be sufficient for the time being. That'll give us 19 cuts, is 190 cuts we can do. We've got 191 or 196 or something. So the rest of them we'll just roast if we need to. What I'd like to do is, can I take, how do I pick, yeah, those all. Do you want to put them on the ground? Yes, I do. From now, we're going to drop all the additional elk cuts. So we're going to have one spare elk cut. I've got, oh, fine cords. Excellent. Things are looking really nice here. We're still carrying a lot of weight. I'll drop that. Now we're down to normal. Let's eat some of these babies and start ourselves a fire. Now, the good thing about fireplaces do two things at once. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, sauna stove. These fireplaces will continue to heat even after they've burnt out. They also count as a fire for a short period of time afterwards. So now what we've got now is a heated room. I can go cooking. I can smoke. Nope, I've actually got to pick it up. Okay, let's pick up. What's 19 times 2 is 38. Let's do 38 at a time. Because I'll just have to keep picking them up. Now what I do, if I cook 19 of these at once, I can use a single cord. I require tying equipment by 1. And that's the most efficient way of drying and smoking everything there. So 19 smoked elk cuts. If I repeat that, 19, use them all. 1 piece of tying equipment. Done. So I'll keep doing this, and it's going to be a little bit repetitive. I am going to speed this one up somewhat, and then I'll catch you guys back at the end of all of this. That was a bit stupid of me. I had 291 elk cuts, not 191. So I got another 101, which means divide that by 19 is like 5 and a bit. So I'll make 5 more. Fortunately, our character is really, really tired. So let's just sleep this one off for the time being. Hopefully we don't starve to death or die of thirst. Actually, that actually could be a problem. Let's go find the water source of this village. They should have a little well somewhere. I got no idea where it could be. Where is the well? Huh. Every single village has one. If I can find where it is, that will let me drink without having to leave and travel far away. I think I'm going to have to drink and travel far away though, because I cannot seem to find it for the life of me. So let's go out, and then I'll come back and make a little bit more. I'll make 5 more cords of leather. Where's water? Down here. Make 5 more cords of leather, and then we'll be able to effectively finish off the rest of that meat. It will be beautifully drying up for us. Oh, that's really weird. Looks like I accidentally picked up a sauna scoop. I don't recall picking one up, but I suppose it's not impossible considering I was standing in the sauna. But I guess I'm glad they caught me before I somehow accidentally ran off with it and made an enemy of the village that has all of my food in it. That could have been shit. Now, I just have to hope that my leather down here hasn't spoiled in the time that I've been away, because that can happen. Tanning elk skin is done, but it's still in good quality. What I can do now is... Yes, you're good here. Let's jump over here. Jump over here. Now let's, I drop, no I don't, I apply the rope, I tie it to a tree, and I'll put it to my right. So it's now tied up, and also in there to protect it from anything that may attack it. And continuing to eat that everlasting pile of stuff there. I need to keep tanning, but I'm also conscious of the fact that our meat is, you may have noticed in that thing there, it's starting to go stale. So it's raw meat that is beginning to get a little bit shitty. So no, thank you. I'll roast it up. Because that bird came quite close to us. How cool. Light a fire here, and I will roast this stuff up and get that going nicely. Here you go. Now you'll notice as well, if you're paying attention during that time lapse, that I only lit the one fire. I then did a whole bunch of work. I went to sleep, woke up the next day, walked all the way home, got a drink, came back, made more cords, and the room was still technically heated. That's how good fireplaces are. I couldn't actually use it as a fire, so you can use them as an open fire even after the fire has gone out, just because there's coal and embers in there. But the actual heated room effect will last a hell of a lot longer. So although I couldn't roast this stuff, I could still use it as a sauna and a smoking house for all my food. So things are looking pretty good. Let's also roast up. No, I have some fat here somewhere. I'm fairly certain I had a whole bunch of fat. Oh, I must have already roasted it when I wasn't looking. Shows you how clever I am. That'll done shortly. Let's pick up those stag cuts. We'll eat some of them as well. I'll save the burbot for later if at all possible. And come on. Let's pick up this fat. And there we go, we've got the roasted fat as well. What I'm going to do is stick, I suppose I'll put this smoked burbot back in there, and I'll throw those in as well. We'll eat the fat first. They're bland, unfortunately, probably because the quality of them wasn't very good, and I don't think our cooking skill is spectacular either. Either I'll get a little bit of hide working done, we will tan and wash all this crap off. Let's have a look here. Excellent. How long is it going to take? By morning. So we've done fairly well. It's been a fairly productive episode. We've got all that food done, which is the important part. Probably going to spend a bit of time off camera. What's the word? Sort of chopping through all this stuff and trying to make it into stuff. I realized I don't really need the clothing here. I've got some good clothing already, and hopefully we'll pick up more as the year goes on. So I'm thinking of making a whole bunch of cords out of this. I can make additional snare traps if at all required, because there is a lot of wildlife. A lot that's coming from the west as well. So find a couple of berry patches out here and throw down a few of those things. Hopefully we can catch some animals. Looks like nothing up here has been captured. Let's go check out our other ones quickly before the end of the episode. Have we caught anything? So snare traps are great as well, because they're a quick source of food, and it's almost certainly not going to explode. Ooh, look, there's a feather over there. There's a lot of feathers over here. Feathers are good, as I was saying before, because you can make things out of them. I'm going to pick them up. They do drop naturally, so you don't have to actually kill something to get feathers, but it certainly does help. Looks like none of our snare traps have caught anything so far, and I can't quite see that. Yeah, it looks like nothing's been caught in our pitfall trap again just yet. But we did end up catching one of those elks. That may well have been the elk that we were chasing before as well. It'd be spectacular if it was, but do I want to risk it? With a perma-death game, do I want to risk going out with no swimming skill to pick up a single arrow? Probably not. That one there is annoying. It's sort of in my lane of highway. Either way, that is the end of this episode, I think, guys. I'm going to sort of poke around off camera a little bit, finish tanning this thing off, make a whole bunch of cords, and then I'll cut back once we are... Actually, I need to... Yeah, poor dull shovel blade. I need to finish off making this shovel as well. It was being tempered before. Now I need to sharpen it up and then make a shovel. I'll do that off camera. You guys have seen me smith things, but I'll have a nice, shiny, crappy shovel next episode that you guys will be able to enjoy. Alright guys, I've been Blxz. This has been the Unreal World. This is Inari signing off. Take care guys. I'll see you around.